Johnny Carson, the face of The Tonight Show for 30 years, wasn't just a late-night TV host. He was a kingmaker in the entertainment world. His charm, quick wit, and ability to connect with guests and audiences made him an undisputed icon. But beneath the affable exterior, Carson had a serious side, one that didn't tolerate disloyalty, overstepping boundaries, or personal slights. During his tenure, Carson banned a surprising number of famous faces from his show. Some were personal grudges, some were professional offenses, and others remain a mystery to this day. In this video, we'll uncover the stories behind some of the most famous celebrities who were banned from The Tonight Show by Johnny Carson. We'll explore their relationships with Carson, what led to their bans, and how they eventually reconciled or didn't with the late-night legend. By the end, you'll have a better understanding of Carson's personality and the power he wielded in show business. Joan Rivers, the ultimate betrayal. Joan Rivers' ban is perhaps the most famous of all. Once Carson's favorite guest host, her witty and sharp comedic style seemed a perfect fit for late-night TV. Joan credited Carson with giving her a major break, and their professional relationship appeared solid for years. Rivers hosted The Tonight Show over 90 times in Carson's absence, and the two seemed to enjoy a mutual respect. But everything fell apart in 1986 when Rivers launched her own show on the brand new Fox network, The Late Show starring Joan Rivers. What enraged Carson wasn't that Rivers started a competing late-night show. It was that she never told him. She never consulted him or gave him a heads up, which in Carson's eyes was the ultimate betrayal. Carson's reaction was swift and severe. He was deeply hurt and saw her move as disloyal. He felt that he had made Joan Rivers a star and that by not informing him of her plans, she had stabbed him in the back. After a phone call in which he reportedly hung up on her, he never spoke to her again. Rivers was banned from The Tonight Show for the rest of Carson's tenure. It wasn't until 2014, when Jimmy Fallon took over, that Rivers was finally allowed back on the show, almost 3 decades later. Rivers often said in interviews how devastated she was by Carson's response, feeling like she had lost both a mentor and a friend. But to this day, the exact reasoning behind Carson's harsh reaction remains a mystery. They never reconciled, and Carson took the reason to his grave when he passed away in January 2005, leaving Rivers to wonder what could have been. Bob Hope, a clash of comedy titans. Bob Hope was a legend, arguably one of the most beloved entertainers of the 20th century. For years, he was a frequent guest on The Tonight Show, and on the surface, it seemed like he and Carson got along. But behind the scenes, things weren't so rosy. Hope's appearances became more scripted over time, with the comedian providing Carson with a list of pre-approved questions and rigid guidelines for their conversations. Carson, who thrived on spontaneity, hated this. He was a master of the ad-libbed joke, someone who loved keeping conversations lively and unscripted. Bob Hope's strictly controlled interviews, often filled with recycled material from his previous appearances, frustrated Johnny. In fact, according to Carson's former head writer Andrew Nichols, Carson found Hope to be a terrible guest. "He didn't take part in the show," Nichols said. "He wasn't interested in anything that wasn't prearranged." Hope's declining energy and reliance on scripted bits made for awkward interviews, and Carson grew tired of it. While the ban on Bob Hope wasn't formal, he eventually stopped being invited. Carson's refusal to put up with Hope's increasingly scripted and mechanical style marked the end of their working relationship. For a legend like Hope to fall out of favor with Carson speaks volumes about the late-night host's standards and the power he wielded in Hollywood. It's a testament to Carson's authenticity and passion for spontaneous comedy that led him to ban Bob Hope from his show. Wayne Newton, when jokes turned personal. Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas himself, was once a favorite guest on The Tonight Show. The crooner brought a certain level of glamour and charm, but things turned sour when Carson's jokes about Newton became more personal and cutting. What started as light-hearted ribbing about Newton's youthful looks and smooth persona soon crossed into uncomfortable territory, with Carson implying that Newton wasn't manly enough, a line that offended the singer. Newton initially tried to brush off the jokes, but after they continued, he decided to confront Carson head-on. In an NBC office, Newton reportedly threatened Carson, demanding that the jokes stop or there would be consequences. The altercation, while never physically violent, marked a turning point in their relationship. Carson, never one to back down from a confrontation, retaliated by banning Newton from the show. The feud didn't end there. Years later, Carson reportedly tried to purchase the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, but Newton outbid him. Whether Carson saw this as another personal affront or just business competition, the bad blood between them ensured that Newton's ban was permanent. Newton later claimed that the jokes deeply affected him, as they targeted not just his public persona, but his personal integrity. The feud between Wayne Newton and Johnny Carson is a reminder of the thin line between comedy and personal attacks when it comes to celebrity relationships. Rich Little, the impressionist who went too far. Rich Little, the famous Canadian impressionist, was a staple of 1970s television. Known for his dead-on impressions of everyone from Richard Nixon to Jimmy Stewart, Little was a regular guest on The Tonight Show, until one fateful night when he decided to impersonate Johnny Carson himself. Carson had a reputation for being thin-skinned, and when Little performed a full impression of him without warning, it rubbed Johnny the wrong way. While Carson was known to make fun of others, he didn't appreciate being on the receiving end, especially when it came to his own quirks and mannerisms. He saw the impression as disrespectful, particularly because it wasn't cleared with him ahead of time. After that, Little was persona non grata on The Tonight Show for years. The two eventually reconciled when they ran into each other by chance at a restaurant, but the ban marked an era in which Carson didn't hesitate to take offense, even from fellow comedians. Carson's sharp sensitivity toward his image, despite his ability to make fun of others, was a recurring theme throughout his career. While it may have been a flaw, it also made him human and relatable to his audience. As for Rich Little, he learned the hard way that even the most talented impressionist should still ask for permission before taking on the persona of another celebrity. It's a lesson in professionalism and respect, especially when it comes to comedic relationships. Shelley Winters, speaking out of Turn Academy. Award-winning actress Shelley Winters was another casualty of Carson's iron grip on The Tonight Show. Known for her sharp tongue and bold personality, Winters made headlines in 1976 when she appeared on The Tonight Show and, in an unguarded moment, made a derogatory comment about Carson's ex-wife. Carson, who had just gone through a very public and painful divorce, was incensed. While the details of the comment are largely forgotten, the offense was enough to get Winters banned. Like others who crossed Carson, Winters found herself on the outside looking in, with no opportunity for redemption. Winters later admitted she regretted her remark, but the damage was done. Carson's ability to hold a grudge was mythical, and once you were out, getting back in his good graces was nearly impossible. It's a reminder to be mindful of our words and actions, especially in the public eye. You never know who may be listening or how they may take offense, a lesson that Shelley Winters learned the very hard way. The legacy of Johnny Carson's bans. Carson's reputation as the gatekeeper of late-night TV wasn't just based on his immense talent. It was also built on his ability to control who was allowed into his world. His bans, whether fueled by personal vendettas, bruised egos, or just bad chemistry, were a reminder that Carson ruled The Tonight Show with an iron fist. While some stars like Joan Rivers and Wayne Newton went on to have successful careers despite their falling out with Carson, others, like Rich Little and Shelley Winters, found their absence from the show impacted their visibility in Hollywood. For many, a ban from The Tonight Show wasn't just a lost appearance, it was a career obstacle. Carson's bans tell the story of a man who valued loyalty and personal respect above all. He saw The Tonight Show as his domain, and those who crossed him often paid a heavy price. But beyond the headlines and Hollywood gossip, Carson's actions reveal a man who took his role as both entertainer and gatekeeper seriously. He understood the power of his platform and didn't hesitate to use it to make a statement, whether it was for personal reasons or to set an example. The legacy of Carson's bands is a reminder that fame and success come with great responsibility, and how we treat others can have lasting consequences. As we look back on The Tonight Show and Johnny Carson's legendary career, it's important to remember that even the biggest stars are simple humans, with feelings that can be hurt and egos that can be bruised. And sometimes those wounds never fully heal, no matter how successful or famous or how many years have passed. So let us learn from Carson's legacy and strive to be mindful of our words and actions, treating others with the respect they deserve, even in moments of conflict or competition. We hope this video has given you a deeper understanding of Johnny Carson and his impact on the world of entertainment. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content like this.